Hey guys, this is Arsenal Giants PS3, and this is a video I've made to clarify two things. First and foremost, I just want to speak about Arsenal Superliga. Now, in the background, I've just got some gameplay from a Gold Cup semi-final that I played using my Serie A team against this guy. We're a pretty shit team, and basically I'm just going to use that, but what I'm going to talk about is my Arsenal Superliga and my stance on informs and upped cards and team of the years and all that stuff as well. But first and foremost, Arsenal Superliga. Now obviously I haven't brought it out for quite some time, and that is for one reason. At this current point in time, for example in this video, I am making it at Tyler's house using his Hopage, or Hopage, however the hell you say it, and I do all the commentary here and all that stuff, so it all happens at Tyler's house. But as of late this month, about the 30th, I'm going to be buying my own HD PVR. Now that basically means I'll be doing loads more videos at my house, which will mean basically I can get out more videos because I can do them all the time. Tyler can get out more videos because obviously he hasn't got me around here making my videos, and that means basically I'll have more time to do Superliga, so it will come out more often. It will come out around the same ratio, around the same kind of time span of Tyler's Arsenal Giants PS3 Sunderland one. So that's why it hasn't been up. That's why I'm waiting for a bit, but trust me, when it comes back it will be much better because it will be coming out more frequent. You'll see more episodes, and hopefully it will be a little bit more interesting because of that. Same goes for around the world, and maybe some squad builders or something, I don't know. And I might start another series, just something on the off chance, maybe just showing goals and stuff. And that's basically what's happening. So I'm getting my own HD PVR, and although there might be some technical difficulties at the start of it, by the end you'll have more content basically coming out on this channel more frequently, and hopefully that will probably mean about one video a day, especially as our exams, we're doing our AS exams, they finish about Tuesday this week. I don't know when you'll be seeing this, Tuesday this week, so again we should be getting more videos out as our summer starts to begin. Now that's just what I wanted to start this video off. The second part is kind of me just talking about informs. Now I see so many people on the EA forums and on videos and stuff, reviews of certain players saying, oh, he felt no difference to me when they try out an inform or an upper version of a card. Now informs, they always look quite cool, black and gold cards, and the team of the years as well, blue. And you see loads of people, when they buy a non-inform, they think, oh, this guy would be so much better inform. And there are loads of informs on the market, loads of people pay ludicrous amounts for them. And that's kind of part of my philosophy, why I don't really like informs, and I think it's loads of people argue and they get frustrated with informs, saying that they felt no difference or they actually felt worse. Like for one example, Seydou Doumbia, playing for CSKA Moscow, he got an inform quite early on, and obviously because he was quite a popular non-inform card, loads of people bought him. And if you go on the EA forums and ask, is inform Doumbia good, everyone will say no, he's shit. Now you've got to look at, when I say you've got to look at the price you pay for informs. First and foremost, I think informs can be very, very overpriced. And when you buy, say for example, inform Thiago Silva for 300k compared to his non-inform for, what are we going for now, 40k, you're gonna think, oh yeah, he's gonna be so much better because you're spending so much more money on them. And already your expectations have gone, from low to really high, because you're spending a bloody lot on a centre back. He's changed, obviously, he's in black and gold, but you're paying a lot for him, so immediately you're going to think he's going to be amazing, and that's going to drive your expectations up. And I think, you've got to, again, the second thing you've got to look for is the card stats. Now, I'm not too sure about Thiago Silva's stats, but if you look, for example, at someone like the first Robin van Persie in form, now he got 81 pace compared to the 79, so that's a 2 stat difference. from the non-informed card. Then he got 91 shooting, again a 2-stat difference. But immediately when he came out back in October, I think it was, his price was like 400k. Robin van Persie normal card was 60k. So you're paying an extra 340k for 2 stat differences. You really must, when you're buying informs, you must look at the stats, because sometimes they are minimal at best. Another good example could be, let me think of someone who's got a reasonably, I don't want to say flippant, but a pretty small upgrade in terms of an informed card. You could say someone like the first David Silva, maybe. I think he got an upgrade of like 6 passing, but went for an extra 400k. Now, 6 passing, passing is one of those things that there's a fine line between brilliant and just normal, and then terrible. And 6 passing, how much are you going to realise, how likely is it that you're going to see that in game or represented in game? It's not going to be the most massive of differences, and you've got to look at that when you're buying him, because your expectations, because you're spending all that money, are going to be sky high. But because the actual difference is like 6 or 7 passing, are you going to notice that in game? Are you really going to notice that for the 400k you've spent? It's going to be marginal, and that's why I think a lot of people complain about informs, because you're spending loads but the change is really minimal. But then on the other hand, you do have some informs. I'm not against all informs. Generally I will prefer the non-informed player to the informed player, purely because my expectations won't be as high. Because another one you can look at is Javier Pastore, 1k maximum for his inform, and then not for him, what am I about? His non-inform, and then 40k for his inform. And there's like 3 changes, like 3 different stats changed on his card. 40k is going to feel a lot more. You're going to keep thinking, oh, should I be selling him? Am I losing money on him? Whereas 1k, you're losing absolutely nothing. And you're going to keep, he's an asset rather than just a player you have. And you expect stuff from an asset. You expect him to be so much better and so much more instrumental. But, the 3 passing stat difference isn't really going to show up in game. The perfect example as well for second informs in this situation is Loic Remy. Now, obviously, everybody loved Loic Remy's non-informed cards. He was one of the best strikers on the game in the start of the game, pretty much. And then he got an inform to an 83 from an 82, and that one had a little bit more pace, maybe about 2 stat difference on the shooting. Nothing too amazing. And then he got a second inform, and that had 1 more shooting and 1 more pace, but was an extra 40k on top of the original 40k that Remy went for at the start. Obviously the prices are different now, and there was 1 stat difference. Now, how can you validate spending 40k on 1 stat difference? Some people have this weird thing, they've got to have the most updated card, and that's fair enough, but is 1 stat difference really gonna make that much? I mean, some people do just buy players for the aesthetics. If they've got the coins, they're going to want a player that looks quite nice in their team, and that's fair enough. But when they complain about how it performs or how the player performs, you've got to look at the stats, you've got to look at the price, because these things will all filter subconsciously into your evaluation of the player, and how you see how that player performs. You're going to think, oh, he's been pretty shit for me. And if he misses stuff that the non-informed might have scored, then you're going to think, oh, he's worse than the inform, despite the fact he's got better stats. And that's purely because you spent all this money for him, because you've spent all this, you've spent all this money, you've seen him compared to this, because he's a black card, you can expect him to score anything, and he's not, and you're going to think he's shit. But he's going to be better, he's going to be physically better, but it's going to be so marginal in game that it's not going to validate your 50k purchase or your extra 200k purchase on players like Ibrahimovic. Now, and that's why I'm hesitant to buy them. For example, let's think of a player I had inform and non-inform. Okay, yeah, I got inform Mikeli ages ago for like 300k. Had him for like 2 days maximum. and he had like an extra 2 stat increase, but he was quite a rare inform. He's near the start, and he did not feel that much different at all. I think he was the one. He's not the recent one with like 91 shooting. He had about 88 maybe, or 89, and I remember buying him thinking, oh yeah, he's gonna be so good because I love the non-inform, and he was just meh. He was just, you know, he was good obviously, but he did not feel as good to me at all for compared to the non-inform, purely because he was there was not much change at all, and you've gotta look at this. But for example, there are some really good informs. Now, most informs I buy, as if you could see my Serie A team in this one, I had inform Bonucci. Most informs I buy are under 20k. Now, I feel the informs you buy for under 20k, the value, you know, 20k. Best, you know, if his price suddenly crashes, you can discard him for 10k. And 20k, you're not expecting that much. You could buy a really good non-inform card for 20k, and you know, that's a pretty decent price for a non-inform, for a really good one. So when you buy this inform, you know, he's around the price you pay for someone else. You very rarely pay like 300k for a non-inform unless it's Messi or Ronaldo, whereas it's, you know, there are loads of informs going for 300k for, you know, just informs of players like Torres and Suarez who are like 20k non-inform. So you buy these players, yeah, and then these cheap ones, so your expectations are low, and you're more likely to see a higher increase in stats basically. So for example, if you look at someone, let me think of some really good cheap informs, like Pritchard, playing in Liga 1, he has 60 shooting on his non-inform, 70 shooting on his inform. That's a 10 stat increase. I'm pretty sure that's an increase. That's legit. That's a 10 stat increase. That's like, you know, that's gonna be noticeable. I think anything above like 10, or you know, around 10, that's gonna be pretty noticeable to you, because you know that is a tenth of the possible stat increase made. What is another really good cheap inform? Matty Everington. I think he had like 75 shooting on his old his non-inform card. Then he got one with like 90 pace and 85 shooting. That's going to be noticeable. I think of another really good stat increase. Defenders as well. They can be, unless it's pace on a defender, it can be marginal. But when a player's got massive stat increases, like Walter Samuel, I think, went from an 86 defending on his non-inform to like 95 in his second inform, that's going to be noticeable. Maybe just skip the inform, and you're going to notice a massive difference, because the stats have changed so much. I think you've got to be careful when you look at informs and you look at the price, and then you look at the stats. Basically, what I'm trying to say in this video is that when you're buying informs, always look at the price. I find so much that when I'm buying an inform, it's normally of a player that I didn't like, non-inform. So, say for example, Robin van Persie up. I bought Robin van Persie up for originally the 86 for like what was it? Something like 60k back in the day, and I thought, you know, I didn't really like his card. I thought it was pretty crap. Its finesses were pretty poor. He felt too sluggish to play up front on his own. So I thought, oh, you know, I didn't really like his card, and I left it. Then I bought Ron van Persie's 88 inform, or up actually, and that one had, you know, it only had about 3 difference in stat change. But because I didn't like the original card, I wasn't expecting that much. If I've already loved the non-inform card, I'm going to notice so little difference compared to the up card, because I already loved the, you know, the non-inform. I already thought that was, you know, what were the words used? Beast, amazing, God. So how much more am I going to expect from a non-inform card? From an inform card with, despite, you know, menial stat changes. And Ram van Persie, the up, I loved him. He was one of my favourite players on the game, and that's because I didn't really enjoy the. I didn't enjoy the first one, so I thought the first one was crap. So the second one's I've got very little expectations and all that. So he played with me. It's small and it's psychological and it's maybe a bit tenuous, but I think it's genuinely a valid argument, purely because you've got to take all this stuff into consideration when you're spending so much money on Ultimate Team. 300 coins, 400 coins is a lot of money for one player, especially when you're buying goalkeepers and defenders. You've got to make sure that, you know, you're not expecting too much from these players. They may have, you know, 2 extra stats, they may look beast, but, you know, are you going to notice a difference? And that's basically it, guys. What I would say is, if you're buying an inform, if you really need informs in your team, don't buy ones of players you love non-inform, because the difference is going to be menial, unless maybe they've got massive stat increases. So say if, for example, I've got them from a silver to a gold, or a bronze to a silver, and there's like 10 stat changes. Be careful what you spend 400k on. You know, informs can lose money very quickly, and informs can be very flippant in their in how much they actually change on the card. So be careful with that. And finally, try out some of the 20k informs, because, you know, if they've been non-rare and suddenly they become an inform card, they're going to play a lot different, like Koscielny, like Roger Johnson, like Milan Pjanic, like all these players. Try them out, because I think, you know, you're going to notice more of a difference. And that's basically my argument with inform cards. And thanks for watching. I just want to reiterate though, when I get my own HD PVR, we will be bringing out lots more stuff. So maybe if there's a series you really want to see us do, or me do, and you know, you kind of no one else is doing it, leave a comment. And thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the future. Cheers for watching.